Another recipe I've been asked about is how to make meatloaf and if I had a recipe for meatloaf. And this one is good because it uses a canned sauce that you put into it that makes it taste wonderful without having to chop all that stuff and put it in there yourself. It's already in the sauce. So to start with, you're going to put 2 pounds of ground beef. I use ground chuck just because I think that it holds together better since it doesn't have so much fat in it. So 2 pounds of ground chuck, 1 egg. You don't have to beat it if you don't want to. You can just leave it whole because you're going to mix it anyway. A half a cup of breadcrumbs. And then the secret sauce is, it says Hunt's seasoned tomato sauce for meatloaf. So that's what the can looks like. And this is usually with your tomato sauces in the grocery store. So I've not had any trouble finding it at Kroger. I don't know about other stores or if they carry it, but I know that Kroger does have it. And it has the tomato sauce, peppers, onions, different flavorings in it because whenever you open it, it kind of has that smell to it, like almost like an Italian type smell. But that's what I use, and you mix it together with your hands. I will sit the ground beef out so it's not ice cold straight out of the refrigerator. I don't let it come to room temperature. I just sit it out for a little while and mix this all together. You want to make sure that that egg gets really incorporated into the meat. Otherwise you'll have like white cooked egg or yellow cooked egg right in the middle of your meatloaf. We have a friend who comes into town to visit occasionally, and one night Harold called me and told me, he said, well, I just got a call from David and he's coming up to the house to see us, and I was just getting off work and I'd already had everything fixed to make meatloaf whenever I came home, and that's what we had. And he ate it, and all he has commented on every time he sees me now is the meatloaf. He went home and made meatloaf just because he enjoyed it so much. So it is that. It's good enough to serve the company. So we will bake this and then get it almost all the way done, and then make the sauce that goes on top. The one thing that you will need whenever you're going to bake this is a pan that will allow the fat to drain. And so whatever you can rig up that does that, if you have a pan that has like a some type of cooking rack on the inside of it, that's probably going to be spaced too far apart for you to cook meatloaf on. If you see this has like little holes, anything like that, it's just not going to let the meatloaf fall through it as it cooks, but will allow it to drain is what you're going to need. So the way this works is this pan right here, this part will lift out. So you do have almost like a reservoir in the bottom that will catch that within the tray that it sits on top. So you'll dump this out because otherwise it's just going to be swimming in grease and it's not going to get done the way you want it to get done. And then shape this. Okay, so you just want to shape it. And I usually try and mix it with one hand and then shape it with one hand so I still have a clean hand that doesn't have raw meat on it so I can turn the faucet on and all that, but that's just me. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven at 375 for 30 to 40 minutes. You want to get it almost all the way done because we're going to cook it for another 20 minutes with the sauce on top. that's ready to go, and we'll take it out of the oven. I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll make the sauce and then have a finished product to eat. While the meatloaf is in the oven cooking, we'll go ahead and make the topping for it. And really simple to throw together. It's just 1 cup of ketchup, 1/4 of a cup of light brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. This is my mom's recipe, and she puts mustard in it. She calls it mystery meatloaf. My nephew was helping her cook one day, and to get him interested in it, she told him they were going to cook mystery meatloaf, and the mystery ingredient was the dry mustard. So that stays in there because it does make it taste really good. And just mix that up, and we'll just spoon that over the top once the meatloaf gets partially done. So this is what the meatloaf looks like when it's partially done. It's already pretty brown. I'm just sure it's not done in the middle yet. And we're going to take that sauce and just pour it over top and let it run down the sides. And if you decided you wanted to freeze half of the meatloaf before you cooked it, you would just cut that sauce recipe in half and only make half of it. Okay. So spread that over top, and then this is going to go back in the oven for another 20 minutes, and it's going to kind of caramelize that sugary ketchup sauce that's on top. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished and ready to eat. The meatloaf is out of the oven, and the sauce is all caramelized and kind of gooey with that brown sugar and ketchup, which makes it really, really good. I'd rather have the sauce than the ketchup. So it is good. I hope you try it. I'm sure you'll like it. It'll be the best meatloaf you've probably ever had besides your mom's. And give it a try, and you can freeze it. So eat half of it, freeze whatever's left, and then it'll keep in the refrigerator for or in the freezer for about 6 weeks. Or give half to somebody else. So enjoy it. Let me know how you like it.